Subscription services are quickly becoming a significant presence in the gaming industry. Almost every major publisher in the gaming industry has a subscription service with a game library, whether it be EA Play, Nintendo Switch Online, PS Plus, or Xbox Game Pass. Each of these have different models for how they attract subscribers. However, I believe that the model that Xbox Game Pass is pushing is unsustainable and dangerous for gaming. We are currently in the midst of the subscription wars, like our media production companies such as Disney are in the midst of the streaming wars. Xbox Game Pass launched for all users Thursday the 1st of June 2017. At launch, the service gave Xbox gamers access to a wide variety of titles from the Xbox first party, like Halo 5, Gears of War Ultimate Edition, and Forza Horizon 3. Game Pass had been a project Xbox had been subtly working towards for years. It gave perspective to previous decisions made for the Xbox brand. Backwards compatibility suddenly made more sense because it allowed Xbox to bolster the titles that would be available upon Xbox Game Pass, giving players access to a wide variety of legacy titles which can't be played on rival platforms which lack backwards compatibility. Game Pass changed everything. It made games cheaper and more accessible for Xbox owners, allowing them access to hundreds of titles for the low price of $9.99 per month. January 23, 2018 would see Microsoft begin to get more aggressive with Xbox Game Pass. On the Xbox website, it would be announced that Xbox Game Pass would now have first-party games available at launch. It would be stated, "We know our fans value having a variety of games to play at a low monthly price. We've also heard from fans that the ability to play new blockbuster games in Xbox Game Pass is important, so we've continued to explore new ideas to make this possible. Today, we're excited to announce plans for a major expansion to Xbox Game Pass that underscores our commitment to deliver our fans the ultimate gaming subscription service. We plan to release all new Xbox One exclusive games from Microsoft Studios into Xbox Game Pass on the same date as their global release. This means when Sea of Thieves launches on March 20, it will be included in Xbox Game Pass to all members. This plan to bring new games, timed with their global release into Xbox Game Pass, not only includes announced titles like Sea of Thieves, State of Decay 2, and Crackdown 3, but future unannounced games from Microsoft Studios, including new iterations of our biggest Xbox One exclusive franchises such as Halo, Forza, and Gears of War, on the same day they launch. Since the announcement of games launching day one on Xbox Game Pass, Microsoft do not release sales numbers for their own platform. Microsoft will release total sales for a series, but not per individual title. They have instead opted to release player counts. This is evident through titles such as Sea of Thieves, with 2 million players at launch, Gears 5, with 3 million players in its first week, Forza Horizon 5, with 15 million players in 2 months of its release. Within a month of Halo Infinite's December 2021 launch, it was announced that it had 20 million players. This can be attributed to the campaign launching on Game Pass and the multiplayer component being free to play. If first-party games were selling well on Xbox, I'm sure that Microsoft would be letting everyone know. The model of having first-party games available day one on a subscription service is not a sustainable model. While it has been claimed that Xbox Game Pass is profitable by Phil Spencer, I don't believe it. Not when you take into account two things: sunk cost and opportunity cost. While there may potentially be months where Xbox Game Pass generates a profit, that does not necessarily mean it is profitable. You also have to take into account the sunk cost of the subscription service. Money that was spent on licensing games when Game Pass was not generating a profit. Opportunity cost is defined as a loss associated when foregoing a decision. The opportunity cost in the case of Xbox Game Pass is the revenue that could have been generated by selling first-party titles, as opposed to a day one Game Pass drop. How much money has Microsoft lost in opportunity cost on first-party titles as a result of day one Game Pass drops? If you give your user base the opportunity to pay $10 a month to play your new games instead of $70 per new release, they'll take advantage of the cheaper option. However, it is at the cost of training your user base to inherently not purchase games on your platform, and instead rely heavily upon Game Pass for new titles. There is a few inherent benefits to subscriptions as well. They allow publishers to take risks on smaller projects, and can get them in front of more eyes than if they had been released solely as a purchasable product. It also eases the worries of those developers around sales, because instead they are given a lump sum in exchange for the title appearing on the service. Subscription services can also bring new life to games that may have been overlooked. The Game Pass strategy of gain subscribers with first-party games day one isn't the only model that is being used for subscription services. Nintendo Switch Online and PlayStation Plus use very different methods to attract subscribers to their game libraries. Nintendo is the company with one of gaming's greatest libraries of legacy first-party titles. In my opinion, Nintendo Switch Online is some of the best value in gaming. For $20 a year, Switch Online subscribers get access to a library of Nintendo's classic games, from the Game Boy, NES, and SNES, giving players access to definitive titles from Nintendo's library such as Super Mario Bros. 3, The Legend of Zelda, Super Metroid, Donkey Kong Country, and Earthbound. Nintendo only adds titles to the service a few times a year, but there is such a variety of titles available on the platform that for $20 a year, it is inherently a good deal when compared to the other options. Then, there is the $50 tier, which Nintendo are trying to add more and more value to with each announcement, with the $50 tier giving access to titles from Sega Genesis, N64, and Game Boy Advance, ranging from legendary titles such as Super Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time, to handheld classics like Metroid Fusion and The Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap. Nintendo utilized their expansive catalog of classic games which have all already made as much money as possible to leverage their subscription service. It's powered by nostalgia, which is the most powerful thing a publisher can have in their arsenal. Where Nintendo differs from its competitors is that no modern games are offered through their subscription platform. This entices Nintendo's user base to buy and support their games. Nintendo Switch games sell insane numbers. This is evident through titles such as Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which has sold 52 million units as of December 31st, 2022, and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which has sold 29 million units as of December 31st, 2022. PlayStation take the strategy that Nintendo are utilizing and take it a bit further. PS Plus has multiple tiers, with two of them giving access to a game library, and the highest tier grants access to the Classic Games library, a collection of classic PlayStation games from the PS1, 2, and Portable. The Classics catalog has two major drawbacks. Firstly, there is no PS3 games natively available on the service. This is due to the cell processor of the PS3 and how various games utilized it. Secondly, games come to the service at a slow rate. We have yet to see any new PS2 games added to the service that were not already available. PlayStation Plus also has a library of games that are from first party and some that are licensed from the third party publishers like Square Enix. PlayStation utilize a strategy of bringing their first party games to the service in most cases about a year after release. In the case of Horizon Forbidden West, it was released in February 2022 and was released onto PS Plus in February 2023, after they had made the bulk of their sales. By not introducing new first party games to the service till a year after release, it encourages a purchase for those who are not willing to wait. All subscription services will inevitably run into a single problem, whether it be Game Pass, PS Plus, or Nintendo Switch Online. They all have this common issue. Subscription services are a machine which need to be constantly fed to prove their value to the subscription base. I haven't been subscribed to Xbox Game Pass for months because even though the value proposition is there, they have not had a title that I have to play on Xbox. 2022, apart from Pentiment and Grounded, was barren for Xbox. The search for content to add to the service generally leads to third-party deals being cut to sustain it. In the instance of PS Plus last year, Stray was available at launch on PS Plus, and on Game Pass, Microsoft had to cut a deal for Midnight Suns. The sheer need to feed Game Pass is a contributing factor to why Microsoft purchased Bethesda, and why they are so intent on having the Activision deal go through. The sheer volume of content that would be available to Xbox from Activision's catalog would be insane. From Tony Hawk, Spyro, and every Call of Duty, this would necessitate a price increase for Game Pass. Any increase in price and the subscriber expects more value for their money. The need for a subscription service to feed its subscribers new content leads to what I call the devaluation of media. Have you ever scrolled through Netflix and seen how they release a new original, sometimes multiple originals a week? This is Netflix attempting to provide value to their service, not through quality product, but rather through quantity and variety. It results in each piece of media being developed not because there is necessarily promise in the idea, but merely because the service needs content. Quality goes out the window in favor of volume. More content then causes a price increase. and this causes the subscriber to reevaluate the value proposition of the service, thus decreasing the content proposition in the eyes of the subscriber and devaluing the content on the service. Subscription services inherently cause content to become less valuable and viable. They do provide steady incomes for their companies, but at the cost of killing off other revenue sources which helped make their flagship products more viable. The advent of subscription services means the end of big budget games, and more microtransactions. A streaming service such as Disney Plus has come to recently realize that it is not sustainable to dump very expensive products straight to streaming. As a result, they are now looking into reviving some of their old revenue streams they had forgone with the advent of Disney Plus, such as video on demand, giving the products the opportunity to earn more money before they go to streaming on their own platform and generate nothing. In the coming years, we will see more mergers and acquisitions from all parties to support their respective services. The big three services will only become more and more prominent. Their effect upon the gaming industry will be felt heavily in the years to come. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like the video and subscribe to my channel. What are your thoughts on subscription services? Do you think they are inherently good for gaming, or do you think they are bad for gaming? Let me know in the comments.